Hi everybody, I'm just doing this really quickly before I go to work, and I do not want to be distracted by doing my makeup. So I've just had a shower and I've put together, and I've just sat down and watched about 3/4 of Chantal's revelations about the Salah situation that happened 4 months ago. She's had 4 months to talk about it, but she's not bothered, and she wanted us to know she's not bothered. Now, I believe this video, as we all probably do, the views are super low on her mukbangs. She's panicking, and she always seems to do this at the very end of the month, that she needs to do a good hearty push to get some extra coin. Now, my feelings about this situation are kind of irrelevant, but I do have some thoughts. And I'm allowed to say them out loud, just as Chantal's allowed to say them out loud. Now, Chantal, because I know you watch everything everybody does, if you're looking for something that's going to break terms of service, you will not find it in this video. So keep looking, honey. Try your hardest and see what you can do. Now, we don't care if Salah feels badly. We don't care if you forgive him. We don't even need to forgive him. What we can do is think he's a pretty awful person for the things we actually saw him say, whether it was a consensual conversation or not. What was revealed about what's in the back of his mind about what he thinks and said about women was pretty gross, pretty scary, frightening to come out of the brain of somebody that you're close to. We don't need to forgive him for that. We will just always remember. And you can't control our response, and telling us to shut it down because we don't care doesn't matter. We care. We want anybody new who comes across your channel to understand the kind of person that you allow to be shown on your platform. His corn moustache and sloppy face is hiding some pretty gross personality traits. And the fact that you've called Kybella a woman who gets paid for sexual conduct in an angry way in past live streams seems to be like you are passing the buck onto her. It's like she forced those thoughts into his brain and forced his thumb to type those things into the chat. Grape fantasies. He really likes a big bowl of grape, he does. There are certain sacred books to Christianity that he would like to do certain practices and acts with certain genitalia that he has on his body. He would like to defecate on other human beings. He would like to stomp on female faces. Now, these were certain things that were not suggested by Kybella. They were not prompted by Kybella. They all came out of his face. And he took the time to type certain phrases out tens of times, over and over and over and over and over and over again. He was really into it. He was into it for a couple of weeks. So it wasn't like it was one misstep. It was many missteps. So as far as you telling us to stop it, just stop it, leave us alone, we don't have to. If in our own chats and our own videos, we choose to put poop emojis and poop sounds and to block his face out when you do have him on your channel and express that we don't want to see him because he is triggering and gross, that will always be our privilege and our right to do. You may settle for a lesser man, but we do not have to settle for looking at a really gross man that just triggers all of our natural female protective instincts, because that's what's happening. We want to protect ourselves biologically. When we see danger, we want to protect ourselves. You seem to have lost that instinct somewhere along the way. I don't know where it went. Maybe you ate it. Don't know. Maybe it was in one of your mukbangs and you just accidentally swallowed it. We are just naturally trying to protect ourselves and protect our community. So if you're so unbothered, just ignore the comments and keep on blocking. Yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. We will always remind the world that Salah is garbage. He is a garbage man, garbage husband. He is an embarrassing husband. He is an embarrassment. And that is why you are bothered, because people do know this about your handsomest man. Yes, people know this part of his personality. I find that hilarious. You found someone horribly flawed. I did have one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, the condescending way that Chantal was trying to talk to the community about how marriages work and how you work it out and you talk it through. Some of us have been married Myself, 13 years, others 10 years, 2 months, 5 months, 30 years. It doesn't matter. When something like this situation pops up, it's usually a deal breaker. It's a massive red flag, like the biggest neon red flag sign you've ever seen in your life. It is a massive red flag. It's harder when you've been with someone longer and they've done something like this. But there are women out there who would drop Salah like a hot bag of crap in a heartbeat. It's a deal breaker. The cheating part alone would be enough for an independent woman with a bit of self-worth to drop him because it was a trust that was broken. And it was repeated. It wasn't just once. It was over a couple of weeks. And then what was revealed was another deal breaker. Massive, huge, danger red flag. It shows a propensity for some really horrific acts that he probably hides. Just because he's not outwardly aggressive and outwardly violent doesn't mean it's not nestling in the back of your head because you don't know for sure. Now, the fact, this is why everybody thinks you're a clown and you're funny, is that you think this is the first time he did it. This is the first time he got caught because it was public. We know about the red room. And the fact that you think he's not doing it now is even more funny. That any second that he's not in your sight, and any second that he can use his phone on his own, those 1 o'clock calls. The fact that you are so gullible to think that he is not trying to catch himself a bigger, fatter, shinier fish, it's ridiculous. He scooped to the bottom of the barrel and he got a bottom of the barrel fish. You couldn't even get yourself to the airport on your own. You don't know the language. You don't seem to have access to your money. He needed you because you are so gullible. He's watched you and seen that you don't care about red flags. And the other reason I don't think you left him is because you don't think what he did was so bad. You see it as just cheating. You don't see the other stuff as a dangerous person, as a dangerous thing. In my opinion, I think it shows a side of him that is kind of scary, and I'd want to know a little bit more about his past. But you couldn't ask about that because his family doesn't want to talk to you, and you don't know any of his friends. None of his friends talk to him anymore. So you wouldn't be able to get any background history. You couldn't do a police check on Salah, could you? Even if you wanted to, because you're not, you can't work your way around the city and the town and the websites where you are. You're not smart enough to do any of these things. You weren't smart enough to do this before you left. Because I'm sure there's probably some niggly little bits in his history that you could have found about. That's why he's probably picked somebody from Canada who doesn't know the language, who's gullible, and clearly will let gross men slide for a really long time. But that's up to you. They're your choices. Our choice is to not accept him in the community, and how we choose to do that, as long as we're not breaking terms of service, it's totally fine. So suck it up, princess, potato princess, just suck it up because we're not going away. And we're going to do what we want on our channel, and we will say whatever we want on our channel. If you don't like it on yours, block it, and then you can just turn your comments off. Shut the algorithm down. Don't worry about the AdSense because Salah is such a good provider. You don't need the money. Remember, you don't need the money. You don't need your videos to be successful. You don't need a successful channel because Salah can provide for you. And then your channel can be the dictatorship that you want it to be, where everybody says what you like and everybody has the exact same opinion and everybody just cheerleads you. Then you can live in your fantasy world even there. Okay, that's all I've got to say this time, and I promise I'm not going to be back again. Bye.